Now, today's digging operations are focused on point number 9. This is where the complainant has expressed strong belief that remains of human bodies will be uncovered. Now, despite not finding any evidence initially, the complainant remained confident and insisted that point number 9 would yield crucial leads today. In fact, the complainant had earlier requested the excavation to begin directly at point number 9. However, the SIT began proceeding according to the protocol, systematically covering all the identified spots during the research. Is also joining me. Now, my colleague Gautam Shankar is joining me on this story. Gautam, you've been closely tracking this story. Now, digging has been going on at the mass burial sites, and today is the 5th day. Walk us through the latest developments. What all have we found so far?
Yes, Ashita. So the special investigation team has now entered the 5th day of excavation near Dharamsthala, where allegations are that there are several bodies that have been buried. And now today's digging operations are going to focus on the site location number 9. Now, this site location number 9 is quite prominent simply because the whistleblower in this case was also the man who was employed as the sanitation worker in Dharmasthala has pointed out that he believes very firmly that a number of human bodies were buried here, and he's very confident that skeletal remains will be found in this point number 9. So far in the 4 days of operations that have gone on regarding the excavation near Nedravati river bank in the reserve forest area, the operations are focused on the 13 sites that he's pointed out. So far, 8 sites have been dug up, and only at point number 6 is where some sort of skeletal remains have been found. So today, the expectation is that at the site number 9 is that some sort of human skeletal remains could be found. Now, despite not finding any sort of evidence, initially the whistleblower in this case has remained very confident, and he is the one insisting that point number 9 will yield a kind of crucial lead here, Ishita.
Right. Now, as you mentioned that digging operations today are focused on point number 9. So why is this specific point so significant? Has the whistleblower said anything more to this?
Yes, Ashita, because keep in mind that the whistleblower in this case has actually alleged that when he was employed in Dharmasthala between 1994 and 2014, in these 20 years, he was forced to bury hundreds of dead bodies. And this point number 9 out of the 13 that he's pinpointed for the special investigation team to basically have these exhuming operations that were going on, he felt that right from the beginning, point number 9 is where they need to begin, because here he is confident that bodies will be, or the skeletal remains of some sort will be found. But the SIT decided to go in an order. They started with point number 1 and eventually progressing up to point number 9 right now. And keep in mind that there's been incessant rain in Mangalore area as well. So as soon as these excavation operations happening, as soon as they are being dug up, it is filling up with water, making the operations quite difficult for everyone involved over there. So it'll be interesting to see what really turns up from this point number 9 and how the investigation will proceed from this point onwards, Ishita.
Right, we will have to see how the excavation pans out at this specific point. Now, with skeletal remains found at one of the sites before, which is spot 6, how do you think the investigation will proceed now, given that you have said that 13 spots have been identified by the whistleblower in the case?
Yes, Ashita. So keep in mind that the fact that already skeletal remains of some sort have been found. What we understand is that the skeletal remains are that of a male, and they have been sent to a forensic lab for investigation as well. So now the special investigation team has also opened up a helpline number as well, and they are asking people to come forward and I'd just get in touch with them and speak about if they have lost anyone in the period between 1990s and 2000, and then they will do a DNA match through forensic analysis and see if the skeleton remains are of a missing person from some years ago, and that from there they can take the investigation forward as well if there was any sort of malpractice or any sort of misgiving that's happened over there. So it'll be interesting to see what really happens in that regard. And also keep in mind that the whistleblower, particularly in this case, has said that he knows some of the victims that have been buried as well. So maybe he could also identify and say that this belongs to them and actually speed up the process as well. So a lot depends on the excavation operations that happen at point number 9 today, Ishita.
Right. Today we will get to know something crucial when the excavation happens at point number 9. But I also want to understand more about this whistleblower in this case, who has now said that there were mass graves and, multiple bodies have been buried there and multiple cases of sexual abuse were also found.
Yes, this whistleblower, Ishita, is actually a former sanitation worker. He was actually employed in Dharamsthala over there, and he actually went missing for a period of 10 years because of fear of his life, and he felt there was a threat to his family as well. So after several years now, he has come forward and actually given a statement to the court that he is willing to cooperate, and he knows where the bodies are buried as well, and he's willing to show the locations. And earlier in July is when he submitted a formal complaint, and he actually, before filing the complaint, he went ahead and personally exhumed skeleton remains that includes a human skull as well, and handed them over to the authorities for forensic analysis as well. So this is also part of the probe that is still happening, and it'll be interesting to see what really happens, because the allegations that is made is that not just women, there are many minor girls, destitute people, men, children as well, and a lot of them were buried without their clothing or innerwear, is the kind of statement that he has made himself in court, and he's pointed out there are signs of sexual assault, violence, and there are also wounds of strangulation that he found that when he buried these bodies, Ishita. So it will be interesting to see what really turns up from site number 9, and if skeletal remains do turn up, then it will actually be a vindication of sorts for this whistleblower.